I discovered that the $47,000 my grandparents left me for college was completely spent on my sister's lavish wedding, a wedding I was a bridesmaid in. 4 years of lies, betrayal, and silence exploded on Christmas morning. My name is Maya, and I want to tell you about the day I discovered that the $47,000 my grandparents left me for college was gone. Every single dollar. Spent on my sister's wedding, a wedding I was a bridesmaid in. A wedding where I gave a toast and cried happy tears and meant every single word. That was 8 months ago. Last week, I found out the truth, and what I did next, I don't regret for a single second. Let me back up. My grandparents, Nana Ruth and Grandpa Joe, were not wealthy people. Grandpa Joe worked 34 years at the same factory in Ohio. Nana Ruth cleaned houses on weekends to help pay bills. They lived simply, carefully, deliberately, and somehow, over decades, they saved. When Grandpa Joe died, he left behind a handwritten letter and 2 separate accounts. One for my sister, Lauren. One for me, $47,000 each, earmarked for college. Nana Ruth made my parents promise, in writing, that the money would only be used for education. She died believing that promise meant something. She was wrong. I was 17 when they died. Lauren was 24 and already engaged to Derek. Derek came from money. His family had a lake house, a boat, and opinions about everything. Lauren wanted a wedding that matched his world. The kind with a venue that had chandeliers and a tasting menu. The kind that costs more than most people's cars. My parents thought that was completely reasonable. What I didn't know, sitting in my high school chemistry class dreaming about studying architecture at Michigan, was that my future was quietly being wired into a wedding venue's bank account. I found out the way you find out most devastating things. By accident, I was home for Thanksgiving, senior year of college. I go to state, not Michigan. Community college first, then transferred, loans, part-time jobs, ramen on Tuesday nights when the money ran thin. I always assumed the college fund had rules, timelines, some kind of process I didn't fully understand yet. I figured I'd ask about it over the holidays. Mom was on a call in the kitchen. I walked in to grab water. She didn't hear me come in. She was talking to Lauren. She's never going to find out, Lauren. It was 4 years ago. Just stop bringing it up. I froze. The account is closed. The money is gone. Maya thinks she got scholarships. She doesn't know the difference. I stood there with my hand on the refrigerator door for what felt like an hour. My mom hung up, turned around, and saw my face. And she knew, immediately, she knew I'd heard. Maya, how much? I said. My voice didn't shake. I don't know how. She sat down at the kitchen table. She didn't deny it. That almost made it worse. All of it, she said. I sat down across from her. Something in me went very still, very cold. Mom told me everything. Lauren's wedding budget had spiraled. Derek's parents were contributing but had conditions, opinions, control. Lauren was miserable. Dad had suggested they borrow from my fund temporarily and replace it before I needed it. But the wedding cost more than expected. Then Dad lost a client. Then the pandemic hit. And $47,000 became a problem they kept meaning to solve and never did. We were going to tell you, Mom said. When? She didn't answer. I went upstairs to my childhood bedroom and sat on the edge of my bed, looking at the wall. I thought about Michigan, about the acceptance letter I'd gotten, about how my parents had sat me down and said the fund had complications, and maybe state was a smarter choice for now. I thought I was being practical. I thought I was being a good daughter. I was being managed. I didn't come down for dinner that night. Dad knocked on my door around 8. Sweetheart, we should talk. Not tonight, I said. Maya's not tonight, Dad. He left. I spent that night doing 2 things. Crying and making a plan. Here's what you need to understand about me. I am not a dramatic person. I don't make scenes. I don't send angry texts. I think carefully. I act precisely. I got that from Nana Ruth. She used to say, Maya, a sharp mind is better than a loud mouth every single time. Nana Ruth, I hope you're watching. Because what I did next was sharp. I had 3 weeks until Christmas. Lauren and Derek were coming, the whole family together. I spent those 3 weeks doing research. First, I called a lawyer. A friend from college, whose mom was a family attorney. I explained the situation. She asked if Nana Ruth's letter was legally binding. I scanned and sent her the original document my grandparents had me sign. She called me back the next day. Maya, this is a legally enforceable agreement. Your parents violated the terms of a restricted gift. You may have grounds for a civil claim. I didn't want to sue my parents, but I wanted to know I could. Second, I called Derek's mother, Patricia. I'd always liked Patricia. She was direct and fair. I told her I needed to share something privately and asked if she had 20 minutes. She called me back that evening. When I told her, she went completely silent. They used your college fund. Her voice was careful, controlled. Every dollar 4 years ago, Lauren knew. Another silence. I see, she said. Thank you for telling me, Maya. I hope you know Derek had no idea. I believe you, I said. I just thought you should know. Third, I called my student loan servicer and got an exact number. $38,400. That's what I owed. For an education that should have been paid for. For a future that was mortgaged to pay for chair covers and a chocolate fountain. Then I waited. Christmas morning. Everyone around the tree. Mom had made her famous cinnamon rolls. Dad was in his reindeer sweater. Lauren was glowing, showing off the new bracelet Derek had given her. I sat quietly, drinking my coffee, watching my family perform happiness. After gifts, I stood up. I have an announcement, I said. Everyone looked at me. Mom's face went pale immediately. I found out a few weeks ago that my college fund, the $47,000 Nana Ruth and Grandpa Joe left me, was used to pay for Lauren's wedding. Dead silence. Derek looked at Lauren. Lauren looked at my mother. My father looked at the floor. I've spoken with a family attorney, I continued. Legally, that money was a restricted gift. Using it without my knowledge or consent was a violation of the agreement my grandparents put in writing. Maya, this isn't the time, Dad started. I'm not finished. I kept my voice completely calm. I also want Lauren to know that I've spoken with Patricia. Lauren's face drained of color. Patricia, who was sitting next to Derek on the couch, nodded quietly. I knew about this conversation, yes. I'm not here to blow up Christmas, I said. I'm here because I deserve an honest conversation that nobody was going to give me, so I'm giving it to myself. Lauren started crying. Maya, I'm so sorry. I told them not to. I told them it was wrong. But the wedding costs just kept going and… You knew, I said softly. For 4 years you knew, every time we had dinner, every time I complained about my loans, every time I talked about how tired I was working 2 jobs, you knew and you said nothing. She couldn't answer that. Dad finally looked up. His eyes were red. We were wrong. We were completely wrong. There's no excuse. No, I agreed. There isn't. Mom was crying into her hands. We're going to fix this, Maya. We'll pay you back every dollar, I promise. I looked at her for a long moment. I know you will, I said, because I've already drafted the repayment agreement. I had it reviewed by an attorney. I'll need both of your signatures before I leave tomorrow. Monthly payments with interest calculated from the date of withdrawal. Dad blinked. Nana Ruth taught me to be thorough, I said. Patricia leaned over and quietly said something to Derek. He nodded and looked at Lauren. Something passed between them that I didn't fully understand yet. I found out later that night. Derek came to find me in the kitchen. My mom and I talked, he said quietly. We want to contribute to the repayment. Half from us. It's not your parents' burden alone. Lauren is my wife. What happened to you happened because of our wedding. We want to be part of making it right. I stared at him. I hadn't expected that. Derek, you don't have to. We want to, he said simply. I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. The agreement was signed the next morning. Both my parents, witnessed by Derek. $47,000 plus 4 years of interest. Repaid in monthly installments split between my parents and Derek's contribution. Lauren hugged me at the door when I left. A long, shaking hug. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I should have fought harder. I should have told you. Yeah, I said. You should have. I'm not going to tell you we're completely healed. We're not. There are 4 years of resentment that don't disappear with a signed document. There are conversations that still need to happen, tears that still need to be cried, trust that will take a long time to rebuild. But I'm no longer carrying a secret that wasn't mine to carry. My loans are being paid down. My future is being returned to me, dollar by dollar. And every month when that payment comes in, I think of Nana Ruth, of Grandpa Joe working 34 years at that factory, of Nana Ruth cleaning houses on weekends so that one day her granddaughter could build something real. I'm building it, Nana. I promise. If someone in your life is holding something that belongs to you, you are allowed to ask for it back. Quietly, legally, thoroughly. You don't have to make a scene, you just have to be prepared. If this story hit close to home, leave a comment. I read every single one. And if you're going through something similar, you're not alone and you're not crazy for wanting what was promised to you. Thank you for listening. It means more than you know.